All right, y'all know what it is. Bruce Courtside here. Thursday, Last Dance finale. Got the whole gang with me. I'm going to go and kick it to the PG. He can let you know what we doing here. Courtside Radio, baby.
Yes, sir. We are back at it, baby. Courtside Radio. Oh, man, so much to talk about. I know not a lot is going on, but it seems like we're getting closer to that NBA season returning somehow, some way. Man, Mike here, the PG here, the Magic Johnson of the show to make sure the thing goes smooth. And it's showtime every time I'm on the mic. Got to shout out our guys that's here, the whole starting five in the building, ready to get this thing going. Quarantine Studios, quarantine. We got Himes, the small forward, Mr. Larry Bird of the show. What's good, Himes?
How's it going, guys? We're chilling back at the Quarantine Studios. This is Miss Kitty. We're back at it.
G'day,
guys.
Hey, I wish y'all could see Himes because he truly has the porn stash going right now. It's legendary.
All right, I'm growing
the 70s porn stash.
Looking like the quarterback from the Jaguars.
I'm doing it for the entire time that we're in quarantine. I'm growing them out. I'm doing it.
That's funny. But, of course, you know we got Mr. Inglewood in the building, the Mr. Inglewood. And we're going to talk more about Inglewood later, another legend from there. But we got our guy, the shooting guard. What up, Mike?
What up? Big Mike out of Pappy in the building. Coming to you from Inglewood as we speak, as you see, as you listen to all platforms that we on. And we got another show coming to you. And we got to do it. Quarantine Studios, baby. Let's get it.
Quarantine.
And, of course, we got
coronavirus.
Of course, we got Mr. Downtown Philip Brown all the way from the ATL, AT Alien himself. What's up, Philip?
Yes, sir. Happy to be back with my boys, man. You know, I look forward to this every week. And there's not a lot going on these days in the streets, man. So, you know, this is one of the times I get to kick back, talk a little smack, and, you know, beat up on Michael. So we good.
Hey, we know one thing. We're going to edit out that shirt you got on because you got the wrong LA team on it.
Hey, guys.
Oh, this is a pretty shirt, you know. We wear
Wow.
we for nothing over here.
Courtside Radio, we do not encourage the
Please exclude our homeless friends.
Michael is an exception.
Our friend is rather transient at the moment. We do love him.
Hey, but let's get right to it. Man, The Last Dance is finished and complete. Man, we saw pretty much the last two championships, 97 and 98, was shown. So what do you guys feel about these last two episodes? And then I want you guys to chime in a little bit on what people are saying after. Like if you heard Scottie Pippen is upset about the stuff, how the documentary made him. And then you had Horace Grant calling out Jordan. So what do you guys feel about it? We're going to start with the center. Bruce, what you feel about the finales?
Man, epic. As always, I'm here watching the 96 movie replay of the Game 6 right now. But it was beautiful, man, just to kind of see because, you know, Episode 9, they did touch on the Steve Kerr situation and then him hitting that big shot for him, you know, late in the game. And then it moved on to basically that series against Utah, which was like it was a battle, you know. It did only go 6, but they definitely were a little nervous. Chicago didn't even have home court advantage, which was crazy just to even think about that you got to start your series in Utah. And then the whole flu game, you know, flu or food poisoning, whatever we want to call it.
The pizza game.
Pizza, 5 delivery guys eat a whole pizza. I don't know if y'all heard, but there was a story basically where they said Jordan used to spit on his food so nobody else would eat it. Your boy's wild. Yeah, man, great episode. Way to end it. But, you know, never enough for us, especially during these times. So, hurts to see it finish off like that.
Hey, so, Phil, what you feel about the final 2 episodes?
Man, I miss it, bro. I already miss it. It ain't even time for – if there were 2 more episodes, not even time for those 2 more episodes to come out. But I miss it already, bro. Like, it was probably one of the best series of my life, man. I'm not even going to flex with you. That thing was amazing. Just talk about the last 2 championships. I like how he went after Russell. That's hilarious to me. Like, he's like, young boy can't guard me. It's like when he was a rookie, he kind of called out Mike saying that like, oh yeah, you retired because of me, and then he came back and like used that as fire. You know, Mike, he's always going to use, you know, something as a leverage against the competition. So I like to see that. But then he had some touching moments to make Mike seem like he was human, especially like with the security guard and whatnot. His homeboy that went through cancer and everything, and how he promoted people to be close to him, and how that relationship developed into more of a mentor, father-son role type of deal. It's good to see. But I don't know, man. Like, it's still amazing that he won every series in less than 6 games, or 6 games or less in the finals, man. So that's just another attribute to his success and everything. But yeah, man, I think it was a great series, man. I wish there was more. You know, I want to know even more detail about it because it was awesome. But it's definitely weird to see 5 pizza guys show up to your door, even if it is Michael Jordan. You know?
Yeah, fact.
Well, a little sketch, you know what I'm saying? But
hey, Utah and Sacramento, we got questions. Y'all poison Kobe, y'all poison MJ. We need to know what's good.
Bro, Utah got the worst fans, bro. I played there in college, like in 2 different. I played like Utah and BYU. Like, bro,
yeah.
Utah, like, although they are like very religious and everything, like Utah has the worst, like most racist, I could say, racist fans. Like,
hey, you remember what they did to Russ? So, Mike, give me your take.
They did to Derek Fisher when he left to come back.
Oh, true.
They did to everybody.
No, they were foul to D-Fish. They were foul.
So, Mike, what's your takes on these final 2 episodes of The Last Dance?
You know what? These were some of – I loved it because it also showed – during this time, they showed the passing of the designated shooter, teammate from John Paxson to Steve Kerr. They showed a lot of where, just like Phil said, Mike was human. He surprised the whole team when he wrote a poem when they had the whole can, the memory can, can't forget it. When they all come together, write something that this team meant to you. And Mike wrote a poem to let them know that I'm not just hard on y'all, I love y'all. From everything in me my presentation might not be the best, but I swear it's genuine. But I did love how they showed how tough Steve Kerr did have to be, losing his dad early during those times. But it was just a lot that you had to see. That was like, in these last few years, for them to give him 5 and 6, this team was a dominant team, but it was like you saw not just, okay, let's work through our inadequacies, but we're going to make this work no matter Dennis here or not, if we going to be, if we injured or not, if Scottie Pippen's back going to work in the finals. Like, it doesn't matter. It made me know that this team brought themselves together through a band of distinct talents that came together so perfectly for a team, and they made history, baby. 2 3-peats.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Himes, what's your take on it?
These last 2 episodes, they were the icing on the cake. You know, like, we talk about how the social media era really does exemplify the guys of today's game. Like, we put them on a higher pedestal just because their highlights, everything about them is more accessible than guys of old. Like, I think of the names like Pete Maravich, Pistol Pete. People know the name, but not a lot of people go and watch a highlight of them. So, like, we're given this opportunity to sit down, like my generation in particular, is given the opportunity to sit down and watch over a 5-week span for 2 hours every Sunday, Jordan in real time, basically, in high definition, and seeing how dominant he was, not just as a figure on the court, but also for purposes of him being that face of the league. You don't get to see that nowadays. Like, Jordan is the face of basketball in a sense still to this very day. And to me, these episodes really just put the icing on the cake to tell me, like, we were watching, like, during that time, the people that were lucky enough to actually be old enough to watch Jordan and let it process, right? Got to see it, and now everyone else gets to see. There is legitimately no excuse to put anyone else in that same conversation as Jordan anymore. There really isn't. It just that goes. And the one thing that I wanted to do after this series, which I did, was I did some research on Jordan's years with the Wizards. Yes, I know nobody really takes them seriously, but I wanted to see what longevity was with him. Because we talk about how LeBron has played at a high level, and this is year 14, correct? Jordan retired twice, and, well, 3 times. Then when he came back and played with the Wizards, they were actually doing well while he was with them. He changed them from a second worst defensive team with 19 wins to changing that way, and they were 6th best in the NBA his first year before he went down with injury. He was just getting back into playing shape. They were 26-21 with him, and he was starting to average high numbers. Over his last 10 games before that injury, he was averaging 29.7 points per game. That's not far off from his career numbers. Like, longevity was there.
And that's one thing I wish that we could have got, maybe an episode, maybe like a bonus episode, just so he can just take you like a quick scan through that year with the Wizards. Man, I just
98 was a tremendous year though, because you have to think about it. They held the Jazz to 54 points as the lowest point total of any game in any.
That just shows you how trash this competition was. That just shows you how trash the competition was.
That shows how great their defense was. Hey, shout out. Hey, can I give a shout out? Hans, I got to shout out a guy that's legendary. Dennis Rodman. Bro went and fought.
He the GOAT.
Hey, directly after game 3.
During the finals. Like, if that was going on today, if they were playing, Draymond Green went to WWE and fought on Monday Night Raw.
He hit a nigga with a chair, bro.
Yeah, like it would be the biggest story because it'd be like, what a distraction. What is this guy doing? But Dennis Rodman came back.
About to win a ring, bitch.
Yeah.
The more and more I watch the series, the more and more I realize that Dennis Rodman was actually the GOAT, bro.
No.
He is the GOAT. He is the GOAT of afterlife NBA time. Like, he was signing autographs with a beer in his hand. He had a beer in his hand signing kids' autographs after a game.
So I'm writing this article right now about the Jordan era and why Jordan was also the greatest from the media perspective. And the thing that I think should be thrown out there to note is the level of scrutiny that was isolated on Jordan came from 3 different sources: written, print, television, or radio, right? Nowadays, you have everything coming in your feed on your phone, but at the same time, you're given that ability to respond to it immediately by taking a freaking video on your phone and posting it to your Twitter, or commenting to a fan, or commenting to the media, right? Jordan had to take such BS for them to link his gambling stuff to his father's passing. That the Orlando Sentinel article is disgusting. And can you imagine if someone tried to pull that stunt with LeBron James in today's NBA, linking him to someone's passing? Absolutely not.
You pull up on him.
And that's what happens when you're at the top.
Yeah, and with Jordan being an African-American male, such prominent figure in the world, that, they tried to break him down, but it just shows you how mentally tough he was for him to go through. And I just think Kobe has the greatest exit ever with 60 points, but that Jordan leaving the Bulls in his dominant years with that shot, the way that he did, like, not even that
he
shot,
left him
just
twice.
The end of that game, that last minute of the game was so great. Like, he got the tough layup over Carr. He went and got the steal from Malone. And then he came downfield, said, I'm calling no timeout. We just going to go so they can't set the defense. And
the legend of Phil. I love it.
Hey,
don't let him get set on defense, bro. Attack them.
Byron Russell was already falling, so he just gave him a little tap.
He made him
a little touch.
Hey,
a little touch.
So before we move on, I just got to say, if you haven't watched this Last Dance documentary, please make sure you get ESPN Plus so you can check this out, because it's just such a great thing. One of the biggest names in the world. Like, most people have his shoes. I just got the ones, you know what I'm talking about,
bro. You can order them because they're in kid sizes, bro. You only pay $60 for them.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
I thought you about to say you got the TJs. I was about to say, don't say that.
You got the Royals?
I got the Royals. Yeah, the Royal Toe. So, hey, you got to know Jordan. Go check out his documentary. He's one of the best athletes, one of the biggest names this world probably has ever seen.
Polarizing athletes of all time.
So let's move it on to another ball head, NBA great. And his name is Kevin Garnett. He just celebrated his birthday.
Big
Let's go,
ticket,
baby.
baby.
Man,
Let's go. Big ticket.
He changed the game.
No, Minnesota is what we're gonna start off with.
The kid.
Minnesota.
The
He
kid.
changed the game because the high school to the NBA, he kind of started that wave. Kobe came the year after him, then it led to LeBron, Dwight, Josh Smith, all these guys.
J.R. Smith.
JR, like
44
so
and
guys
verse.
became,
J.R. Smith.
because when KG did it, it was something that nobody did.
Bynum.
You know, Bynum.
Denham.
So
Andrew
it's just
Bynum,
crazy that
Denham.
he was such a great player. To me, I think he's underrated because if he's drafted to the Spurs, I think that maybe he has the 5 championship career. But you know, he's still one of the most skilled bigs ever. Incredible player. We're gonna start back with you, Bruce, Mr. Center. KG, man, what's your favorite moments of KG? What you feel about him?
Man, those battles with Minnesota when you with the Lakers, man, like we had to see them a couple times, but just he was unstoppable. Baseline jumper is my memory of him. Like
Bread
the
and butter.
baseline jumper was automatic.
Bread and butter.
Post up and he's fading away. And I'm like, how is he hitting this? Either shoulder didn't matter. Like,
Extra
oh
high.
my God. But then, you know, just all the stories, you know, like I like just like lately, you know, like there's a lot of media, there's a lot of podcasts and stuff. And like KG's out there. Like KG's talking, a lot of people are talking about KG. They basically talk about like how he was scary, he's a dog, like he was mean on the court. But then you hear KG tell stories and he talk about like he wasn't actually like that at first. He was kind of quiet and timid. He saw
Young kid.
and then he turned like he saw that like, you know, it was more of an intimidation, and that's just how he just kept it up that way.
He went from the kid to the big ticket and amazing player. So many great accolades, man. 15-time All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP. Like the guy was amazing. What you feel about him, Mr. Phillip Brown?
KG had an MVP?
Yeah,
Yeah,
2003, 2004.
What? You don't
I
remember
think
that?
that was his best year.
Yeah.
I think
You right.
that was his best year.
Yeah.
That was the what do you call it? That cockback year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, I remember that.
He averaged 24, 13.9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, and 1 steal. Amazing numbers. So, Phillip, what you feel about KG?
Man, I gotta take it back to his high school days back in South Carolina where they tried to hem him up, man. They tried to Allen Iverson that boy. You know what I'm saying? So I had to talk about that and how he escaped like, that surroundings he had in the South, man. He had to go up north in order to be able to even be in a successful situation, bro. So then he comes out of the league as a young kid, like comes to the league as a young kid. That's why he's got the nickname The Kid, man. And I just want to talk about the impact he had on every other, you know, high school player coming out, because he had so much success that it was feasible for players to start coming back out again. Because, you know, like there were some players that came out before him. We're not going to go as far back as Moses Malone, but in the meantime, nobody really came out of high school like that. But he came out.
That was the first high school player.
Success. Huh?
First notable high school player, Moses Malone. Makes sense.
Yeah, no. Shout out Moses Malone, but KG came out and made it popular again, bro. He's like, all right, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna kill, bro. What was he, All-Star second year? You said, Michael?
Yeah, second year All-Star.
That's what I'm saying. So he was killing like at 18, 19 right off the bat. So that gave momentum to the other players to be able to come out. But he was actually like one of the first like stretch fours. He's 6'12" or 7 foot. You know, he doesn't like to be called 7 foot. So
he's huge.
He's 6'12", bro. And this man had wing skills, had handles, had everything. And he was one of the first.
Everything.
He was one of the first big men, like to kind of like have like guard skills to kind of show, you know, what big men are capable of, man. So he started the whole wave, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, KD isn't as good as on defense as KG is, but you know he's in that same type of mode. And then KG isn't as good on the perimeter, but you know what I'm saying? He started that wave of big men starting to be able to do stuff on the wing, man. So I think and then he had that $100 million contract. Like he's the highest paid player ever.
Two of them.
He kind of started. Wow. He kind of was a big part of the lockout in '99 because he got such a huge deal that they was like, man, how can we control this? And they had to create the max contract. So crazy, Mike.
For him, imagine that for him.
Yeah, Mike. What do you feel about KG?
Well worth it.
I feel like KG, for me growing up, KG was one of the players that he awed me with a positionless talent to be that tall. Like, he took it upon himself to just say, okay, you know what? When he became a dog, when he found out when I could use this aggressiveness against you, but take your head out of the game, okay. He turned into a monster. He was athletic. He was a point forward from the get-go, but he was athletic. And he showed me that he didn't have to be flashy all the time, but everything he did was with style. And it's like, we haven't seen that in so long for somebody that tall, that young, that skilled, and had that much potential. And it was like, at a young age, he showed us that, hey, the big ticket is worth every penny. $100 million contract here. Let's get that money. $100 million contract there. Let's get that money. But he also said, if I'm going to be the highest paid player of all time, I'm going to have to make sure I'm worth it. He went to go get his ring upon himself and took it as a responsibility. Because I can't end my career without doing that. And he put himself in the best place to do it.
And I hate to say,
Celtics. Look, I didn't want to say it.
He got one.
But Hans,
He
Hans, show that shirt one time. Show that shirt with pride, baby.
Speaking of the Celtics, where he finished his, he didn't finish his career, but he got his ring, got his Defensive Player of the Year. Himes, I know you probably got a bunch of memories.
So it's funny that we're talking about
KG
this.
signing.
I'm on Facebook. I'm
crying.
I'm on Facebook, right? And the first thing that's on my feed is Kevin Garnett highlights, the top 50 highlights from his
all
career.
Celtics highlights.
So no, actually, surprisingly, a lot of them have been mostly Minnesota so far. We're only at 20.
That should tell you when he was a better player.
Yeah, okay. Winning a ring.
I purposely left out the Celtics stuff behind to get on.
He brought us out of the drought. His presence brought the defensive identity back to Boston. He really set the tone on the defensive side of the ball and isn't as credited with that as he should be. Like,
I needed that.
When you think about the big three, right, there was legitimately no level that someone was higher on. Sure, when you think about the Miami Heat, you have option A is LeBron James, B or one or like A minus, 1B would be Dwayne Wade, and then Chris Bosh was the third. With the Celtics, it was any given night, it would be Pierce, KG, or Ray. All of them had their input, and that's why they set themselves up so perfectly well. They were three guys at the latter end of their career that were ready to actually sacrifice some of their game to win. And what did he do? He won a ring, and then the next year won Defensive Player of the Year, ended up going out with an injury, of which, if he wasn't injured, they probably would have been back in the finals. 2010, as a fourth seed, we beat LeBron James in 6 games, and they had home court advantage. They were the first seed. We wouldn't have been able to do that, and not beyond that, when LeBron was in Miami, we wouldn't have been able to do as much as we were because Garnett was willing to switch from the power forward to the center position, which stretched our game out, made us longer, allowed us to better match up with the likes of Chris Bosh at the 5 now. They just worked so well, and I can't stress enough how much I love Kevin Garnett and have learned to give him the respect that he deserves. To me, we all hear about how the Celtics might retire his number. I am okay, and I would definitely like having Kevin Garnett's number retired because he's out of that.
Himes, everybody will agree with me. The Celtics retire everybody's number, so of course they're going to retire.
Everybody. I got one up there.
Yeah,
I got a lot of good players, bro. We got a lot of good players.
I got a KG story from Boston as told to me by Ray Allen. So one of my coaches in college knew Ray Allen, so we was on a road trip, and Ray Allen actually came and spoke to our team. And he talked about, like, KG's intensity, bro. Like, KG was so intense, and he was so on point about everything. Big Baby Davis came down in flip-flops. In flip-flops, and KG was like, if you don't take your fat ass back upstairs and change it to something, bro. And this was for team meetings. This wasn't even for no run around. Like, KG didn't play at all. Like, he had such high standards and such high, like, intensity, bro. Like, he changed the whole culture. That was, I mean, Celtics have a good culture, but, you know, he changed that team into, like.
You remember the Craig Sager interaction where he was like, you need to take the suit and you need to burn it. What about the socks? The socks, too. Everything.
You know what?
Great. Him and Craig
Sager.
Everything.
I just thought of something.
R.I.P. Craig Sager.
Facts.
Hey, R.I.P. Craig. Also, KG is the basketball version of Samuel Jackson but what we need vocally. If anybody needs commentation for this year, KG is the one to go to. Samuel L. Jackson, KG. KG for the league. There we go.
So
you
KG,
know what? All
man,
right. One moment also that I had was like amongst his career stuff. We're talking post-career. I was sitting with my mom and we were watching NBA TNT before one of the games, right? And we see Area 21 with KG, Big Three, and unfortunately Ray wasn't there. Of course, we all know why.
Ray we know.
Big Baby Davis was there, and my mom and I sat there together, just laughing our asses off, listening to the stories and whatnot. And like that's a special moment for me, and he's a part of that, man. Like they helped bring my mom and I closer, and me get to understand.
So we're gonna move along, and we're gonna keep it a little Celtics. But for all you guys listening to us on the Good News Radio app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
we love you.
Favorite podcast platforms. Thank you for the love. Courtside Radio is here, making sure we always bringing you that fire, that flame that you need in your ear.
That fuego.
Of listening to these people on ESPN and Fox Sports who are just giving you their gander. We bringing you that real, so I hope you love it.
People, just remember, when you're listening to the Good News Radio and you're listening to Courtside Radio in particular, anything is possible!
Facts. I agree. Hey, but before we get to the last topic, this week's Throwback Thursday Player of the Week is Kendall Gill. He's the Throwback Thursday player.
Wow. There we go.
Yeah. And who picked that? Michael picked that?
Yeah, I pick all of them, homie.
Okay, Michael.
I sent them that.
Wow.
Okay. That's what I thought.
He gave you some good runs with the Nets. He played with Charlotte Hornets, even the Supersonics as well. So Kendall Gill, a good history lesson for you young hoop fans. But let's get to this final topic and to keep it green with another Celtic great.
I have to just say,
one of the best players.
That was a great Throwback Thursday Player of the Week. I have not thought about Kendall Gill in a minute, and I'm on basketball.
Bro.
That's what I do.
That's what I said.
So Paul Pierce has a top 5 that he put out on TV Wednesday morning, and here's his 5. Let me know if you guys disagree or agree, because I agree with the names, but maybe you take Russell out because it's so long ago.
No,
I like the list. All right.
Alex, you don't.
I'm taking Russell out too. I'm taking Kareem out if we're doing it. I'm taking Kareem out. Now what, Mike?
You know who don't get a
never. He said Jordan. And let me tell you the list. Let me tell you the 5, homie. So it's Jordan at 1, Kareem at 2, Bill Russell at 3, Magic at 4, Kobe at 5. What's our thoughts? What's our thoughts on this? We'll start with you, Bruce.
Yeah, it's just like I don't technically mind the Kareem. I'm a Laker fan and I understand what he's done, and he actually did it in the '80s too. You know, when like you think Kareem's old technically, but he like you young bucks still ain't got nothing on me. He played until he was 50 almost, and still dominated. Yes.
Or just basketball?
Yada.
NBA, man. NBA greatest.
NBA, man. Get out of here. But then, you know, MJ, number 1, you know, the Bill Russell thing for me, like, that can go. Magic, sure, leave him there. But LeBron got to hit somebody's top 5, bro. Kobe, we already know with me. Like, Kobe is, like, 1B for me, so.
That nigga's number 7.
You know.
Get out of here. So what you feel about it, Philip, with this nonsense you already saying?
Huh? Me? Me?
Yeah.
Black feet? Yeah, bro. Like
Cap.
Huh?
Cap
is already King Cap.
It's hard to respect that top 5 because they are all great. But at the end of the day, man, the fact that he doesn't have LeBron in there just shows that LeBron beat up on him during his career. Like, he's still hating on LeBron, bro, and that's just the basis of that. So if you had LeBron in there, you can't argue his top 5. But the fact that he purposely left LeBron out, which is just him hating, bro. Like,
you mad. Mad.
Thank you.
Can't be mad at somebody that you beat. So, Mike, what you feel about this 5 that Paul Pierce gave?
Yeah, to get 3 superstars with him to go, but yeah, cool.
I'm not mad at his 5 because I understand why he took it. I'm also going to have his back on why LeBron is not a top 5 yet. I understand that he has proven statistically.
Thank you.
Statistically, he has proven that he's going to go down as one of the first players to do a lot of things, to be in a lot of categories in a high standard. Yes, we know. But if we go by what you actually done on the court, that actually goes in wins and losses on top of your stats, you're not willing your team, as your stats say, as your stats will show, you might be the greatest player to ever touch a motherfucker by the time you're done. But the impact you've had on your teammates might be well. Impact you've had on winning, not so much in the great aspect that you do. But I do understand that I'll give him his 5, but I wouldn't personally put Bill Russell or Kareem. And I guess we got some
disturbance
video ads coming through. Hey, we still got that money coming our way.
Facts. Hey, so Himes, what you feel about the Truth's top 5?
I think there is a little bias in it. I very much do believe so. But, yeah, LeBron, it's – first off, Kobe Bryant should always be number 2. If you're going to say Michael Jordan's 1, I'll put that there. Bill Russell's a must in a top 5 list.
Because you're a Celtics fan. Yeah.
And I feel like Larry Bird deserves to be top 6 or 7 at most.
No, wait. No, Bruce, don't laugh. Top 6, I'm with you. Larry Bird, if somebody got to be his top 6, there's only 2 other options, really.
Hines, we got to talk about that later. I got to tell you some things about that.
Top 6.
And LeBron James, to me, is 4 or 5. I have him at 4 or 5.
But you said Bird is better than Bron.
Okay, question.
Because everyone's going to give me shit for it. If I want to be real, then I'll put Bird in top 5 and LeBron's top 6.
Okay.
I feel that.
That's
okay, I got a question.
Hey, we don't got long, Mike. We only got like 40 seconds.
Will Chamberlain make anybody top 5 before we leave?
Nah, because I take Bill Russell because he won more, but you can.
Player.
It's the same thing as the LeBron story. He got all the stats, but he don't have all the wins.
I'll tell you what. I put Oscar Robertson.
That's the team.
I put Oscar Robertson in top 10. I put Oscar Robertson, the Big O, in top 10, and take Wilt Chamberlain out.
That's crazy. Hey, but man, y'all know what I feel about it. LeBron is not that top 5 guy, not yet. He got to get a ring in LA to do so. If not, bro might not even be top 10, just to keep it real, Philip. But hey. That's Courtside Radio, man. It's our newest episode. We thank you guys for tuning in, listening in to the Starting 5. Y'all know where to find Courtside Radio Instagram page, so you can see our Throwback Thursday Player of the Week, Kendall Gill, and just all of the stuff that we got working during these quarantine times. We thank you guys for tuning in, representing that Good News Radio, Good News Sports. Touchdown with Tangents up next. Make sure y'all tune in to them. We are the best hoop show out here in this land, and everybody knows it with our Starting 5. We got the best 5 since the Jordan Bulls, and probably better than that. So thank y'all for tuning in. We catch y'all next week. We're going to bring some more heat, man. Michael the PG.
Shout out to Lil Dicky and the Lil Dick Gang.
Oh, man, you wild. But, yeah, we out of here, man. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Sir.
Right.